Hello friends, this is Hatim Rampurawala, and in this video we are going to revise essay 260 from the Pankaj Gar scanner. Pankaj Gar sir scanner. This PDF is basically a copyrighted PDF, but though it is freely available on the Pankaj Gar sir Telegram channel. Okay, so we'll revise this, and that was earlier one was basically a disclaimer before starting with revising. Okay, so essay 260, communication with those charged with governance. Question number 1, that is 31st. Discuss with reference to the essay, the auditor shall communicate all the significant findings with those charged with governance, or auditor should communicate the audit matters of the governance interest arising from the audit of the financial statement with those charged with the governance of the entity. Brief state the matters to be included in such a communication. So basically we have to state the significant findings with those charged with governance. Okay, so see what all significant findings which we communicate to the TCWs, that we have to answer in this question. Communicating the significant findings with the TCWG as per essay 260. Communication with those charged with the governance deals with an auditor's responsibility to communicate with the TCWG in an audit of the financial statement. So first we have to refer the standard name, number, name, then auditor's responsibility into that is his auditor's responsibility to communicate to the TCWG in an audit of financial statement. Then as per essay 260, auditor should communicate all the significant findings with the TCWG. He should communicate all the significant findings, basically stated as below. First, auditor should communicate significant qualitative aspects of the entity's accounting practices, accounting policies, accounting estimates, financial statement disclosure. Then the significant difficulties, if any, encountered during the audit. Then unless all those charge of an entity are involved in the managing the entity, significant matter arising from the audit that are discussed and subjected to the correspondence with the management and the written representation the auditor is requesting. Then circumstances that the effect of the form and the content of an entity's of the auditor's report, if any. That is a fourth point. Again I am reading. Circumstances that affects the form and content of an auditor's report. So if any circumstances that are affecting the form and content, so this forms a significant finding basically. Then fifth point, any other significant matter in an auditor's professional judgment are significant to the oversight of the financial statement, or any other significant matter in the auditor's professional judgment. We'll see the third point again, basically. Unless all those charged with the governance are involved in managing the entity, significant matters arising from the audit that were discussed or subjected to the correspondence with the management, that will form basically the significant findings. And written representation to the auditor, the written representation the auditor is requesting. Okay, so this was communicating significant findings with TCWG. Then second question, state the significant difficulties encountered during the audit with reference to essay 260. Significant difficulties encountered during the audit. So the earlier question which we have studied, question number 1, in this the second point, the significant difficulties if any encountered. So this was just one point, but now they have said to elaborate on this. So we'll see question number 32. Answer: significant difficulties encountered during the audit, essay 260. Discuss communication with those charged with governance deals with an auditor's responsibility to communicate with those charged with governance communicate with those charged with governance in an audit of the financial statement. As per essay 260, among the other thing, auditor should communicate the significant difficulties. That the earlier question which we studied, there was a significant findings, and over here it is significant difficulties encountered during the audit. So what all difficulties an auditor has faced? That is first, significant delay in management providing the required information. Then unnecessary brief time within which to complete an audit. Then extensive unexpected efforts required to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Then unavailability of the expected information, restriction imposed by the management, and scope limitation that lead to the modification of the auditor's scope limitation that lead to the modification of the auditor's opinion. Okay, now next question, Write the short note on the factor governing the modes of the communication of an auditor with those charged with governance. So what are the factor affecting the mode of communication? If you had seen the earlier video, that is the revision from the chart. So that was the last concept which we have studied, that is factor affecting the mode of communication. We'll quickly just go through this. Essay 260, communication with those charged with governance, deals with an auditor's responsibility to communicate with those charged with governance in an audit of financial statement. If you had noticed, the same para, initial beginning para has been repeated. That is name, number of the essay, name of the essay, and the auditor's responsibility to communicate with TCWG in an audit of financial statement. As per essay 260, the various factors affecting the mode of the communication are, we had seen that 6 points. Over here also, here basically there are 8 points. Okay, we'll see points. First, whether the discussion of the matters will be included in the auditor's report, that is key audit matter para. So we have to answer basically the factor affecting the mode. So this is an additional point from the one which we had studied from the chart, that is discuss whether the discussion with the discussion of the matter with the management basically will be included in an entity auditor's report. Second, whether the management has previously communicated the matter, okay. First point, whether the discussion of the matter will be included as a key audit in the audit report as a key audit matter. So the discussion will be included in an audit report as the key audit matter, whether the matter has been communicated to the previously communicated, whether the management has previously communicated the matter. Then third point, size, operating structure, control environment, and legal structure of an entity. In case of an audit of the special purpose financial statement, whether the auditor has also audited the entity's general purpose financial statement. Then legal requirement in some jurisdiction, the written communication with the TCWG is required in the prescribed form by the local law. There is a requirement of the requisite law, or the what we can say, by the respective law, requirement of the respective law of communication, specifying the communication with the TCWG in written form. Basically it should be in written form. What were the wordings which we saw over there in the chart is requirement of the requisite law specifying the communication with written communication with the TCWG in the prescribed form. Then the expectation of the TCWG, including the arrangement made for the periodic meetings or the communication with the auditor, the amount of an ongoing contracts and the dialogues the auditor has with the TCWG, and whether there has been a significant changes in the membership of the governing body. So this point basically we need to mug up. So if they ask the question on factor affecting the mode of communication, we have to write the same point as it is. Then last question, compare and explain the following: reporting to the shareholder versus reporting to the TCWG. So reporting to the shareholder versus reporting to the those charged with governance. First is reporting to shareholder point, SS 700. So basically these all standard deals with reporting to the shareholder, that is SS 700, 701, 706, 705, 706 and 143 of the Companies Act 2013 deals with the provision relating to the reporting to the shareholder, and SS 260 deals with the provision relating to the communication with those charged with governance. Second point, reporting to the shareholder generally focus on true and fair view on the financial statement, and reporting on TCWG includes the auditor's responsibility, planned scope and timing of an audit, significant findings from the audit, and the independence. So the 4 points, the matters to be communicated in an audit, this what has been written in the second point of communication with TCWG, that is reporting to the TCWG generally includes the auditor's responsibility, planned scope and timing, then or significant findings, and the independence. And reporting, and the last one, it is basically incomplete. Reporting to shareholder is, I think so it should be like reporting to shareholder is an external thing, and it is reporting to TCWG is an internal, but let it be. we had seen the 2 points regarding reporting to the shareholder and reporting to TCWG. So with this we are done with essay 260 from the Pankaj Gar scanner. Thank you for watching the video.